Greetings from AthenaVision Studios, and welcome to our fourth episode of Parthenon Particles. I'm Lieutenant Joseph Fugate, and I'll be your host. Our guest for this episode will be Lieutenant Junior Grade Lois Jolly from the Athena Science Department. There's not a lot happening in Star Trek news as we come upon the premiere of Star Trek Section 31. The movie features the return of Michelle Yeoh reprising her Discovery role of Emperor Georgiou. Unable to return to the Terran Empire, she now lives under a new alias as the owner of a nightclub outside of Federation space. That is, until Section 31 enlists her to protect the Federation while also facing the sins of her past. The production for the film originally began as a television series, but after possibly as many as 7 iterations, we now get this streaming movie, a first for the Star Trek franchise. It's been suggested that if fan support is there for the Section 31 movie, more could come, possibly spun off from Section 31 or other Trek series, both present and past. Given the seemingly stalled state of Paramount Pictures movies, I personally find this to be the most exciting prospect of the film, and why I, even though wasn't initially excited by the announcement of the Section 31 movie, will give it a try. Recently, clothing retailer Rewind Era began selling this shirt based on the Next Generation episode Dharma. I must admit, I gave a hearty belly laugh when I saw it, so I wanted to share it with our viewers. Currently being sold at a $10 discount for $25.95, the shirt can be purchased in multiple colors and in sizes small through 5X. There will be a link in the description if you wish to purchase it or check out Rewind Era's other offerings. And now, because I'm not creative enough to write a monologue of Star Trek jokes, I'll again share some Star Trek memes that I enjoyed. Upcoming Athena events include a Section 31 viewing party at the home of Lieutenant Phil Barnes on Saturday, January 25th at 4 p.m. Central Time. Lieutenant Barnes asks that attendees come dressed in black and bring their favorite mirror food to share and your own Scentaholic beverage. For more details, including the address, see Phil's invitation on Facebook. On Friday, January 31st at 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern, I'll be hosting our next online social gathering in the Allen Odyssey Lounge on Zoom. As I recently pled in an email to our membership, while we invite all members to attend, we especially want to encourage members outside the Nashville area who can't regularly attend in-person events. AthenaVision was mostly created with you in mind, so this is your chance to interact with the group. Details on how to enter the meeting can be found in my invitation on Facebook. I'd like to now take the time to welcome 5 new crew members to the Athena. They include Jeremy and Miranda Manning, Don Tobias Jr., Loretta Flanagan Tobias, and Karen Ivy Burcham. Welcome to the USS Athena. It's a pleasure to have you aboard. Now, let's get to our guest, Lois Jolly. I'd like to welcome Lois Jolly to the program. Lois is a lieutenant junior grade in the science department on the USS Athena. Thanks for being a part of the show, Lois.
Yeah, glad to be here. Thanks for asking.
How'd you get into Star Trek?
Well, like many people, we started watching it at home, and surprisingly, my mother liked Star Trek.
Uh,
We were a big like Bonanza family, and maybe it was William Shatner. Who knows? But anyhow, we would watch Star Trek as a family, and always
wow.
liked it. In high school, I was in the band, and my trombone friends and I would try to listen to the show and play along. Great, great trombone picks. Anyhow,
That's fun.
yeah. Then I guess there was a big dry spell there until TNG came out,
Yes.
and I think I was about the right age to really love TNG, so the next generation. And
Okay.
it just continued to grow from there.
You
Yeah.
mentioned Shatner. Was Captain Kirk your favorite character?
Well, I guess I'm a Spock person. Look, here
Ah,
you go. Spock
however,
on.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
But yeah, I mean, everyone loved Kirk or Spock, back in the day. I think
I'm
several
a
of my friends
McCoy guy
had,
myself.
yeah, yeah. Several friends had the Star Trek lunch boxes, and we were kids. So,
I was discussing with some friends from the Athena recently that I can't think of a doctor in a series I didn't like. Even Pulaski on Next Generation, I like them all for some reason.
oh yeah, yeah. And you know what? I just watched the two-parter from Enterprise where what was it called? Affliction, where Dr. Phlox gets kidnapped by the Klingons. That is the episode that explains why some of the Klingons didn't have ridges on their heads. But anyhow, Dr. Phlox, yeah, you know what? He's probably one of my very favorite characters in all Trek. Yeah,
Okay. I he's certainly my favorite on the Enterprise show,
yeah,
but I
yeah,
don't I remember why the augments at that time
yes.
didn't have the ridges, but I don't remember kidnapping Phlox as having anything to do with that. So no matter though.
That's a good one to good two-parter to revisit sometime.
You said you think it's called Affliction?
I think that, yeah, I do believe that's what it was called.
Okay.
I'm terrible for not looking at the name of the episode.
Oh, that's not unusual. When we do Trek trivia, questions about episode names tend to get some guff from members who don't pay attention to that.
Yeah.
Uh, so we've talked about three Star Trek series. Which is your favorite?
Oh, gee. Yeah, whichever one I'm watching at the time. But I
Okay.
have to say, the new Strange New Worlds. Strange New Worlds, I think, hits all the points.
Yeah,
I've really been impressed with that one.
I can see
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay. How'd you come to the Athena?
How did I come to the Athena? Well, like I said, I met Ryan and Kathy at Dragon Con back in, I think it was 2021. Yeah, it was right after the pandemic.
Okay.
Um, we have a mutual friend, Carrie Williams, out of Atlanta, and she had been begging me to come to Dragon Con for years and said, "You will
Mhm.
love this." I finally went. She was right. But I met them at an Atlanta Geeks meetup, and
Okay.
I just started talking to them, and they're just so interesting and so welcoming.
Yes. Yes.
Um, and so we became acquaintances, then friends, and I start seeing all the USS Athena things on Facebook, and I joined. And so I call myself Outpost Asheville. You
Okay.
know. Anyhow, yeah, they're
uh,
just great.
yes.
Then I got to see them again at my sister wanted to go to a con. So I said, well, why don't we go to Knoxville? Because it's just about the right size, not too big, not too small, not too far from Asheville. So we went and we met up with Ryan and Kathy. They were there and we had dinner and got to talk to them a little bit more. And they were just so kind to my sister and really introducing her to what it's like to be at a con and why I like to go because the people are so friendly. So I'm very appreciative of to them for doing that.
Do
Yeah.
you dress in uniform or costume when you go to conventions?
Oh yeah, yeah. I have a few. I have a Voyager era jumpsuit, and then I just got a Strange New Worlds dress. And
Oh,
yeah, I love to do that. Sometimes I did a Palea Palea-esque cosplay last time, and before
okay.
that, I tried to do a Janeway. I put my hair up and kind of walked taller and said, "I'd like a coffee black." That kind of you know goofball. Anyhow, I'd
That's
like to
fun.
try to do an Andorian some year, but that's going to take some doing.
Oh yeah.
I met two great Andorians last year. I forget what their names were, but oh, just charming, charming.
We have a member that does a had that yeah, does a good Andorian. So
Uh-huh.
um let's see. We discussed that you worked at the Astro Space Center doing satellite design. What can you tell us anything about that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so this was back in the 80s when I first entered the workforce. I was a draftsman, and so Astro Space Center was located in East Windsor, New Jersey. They've
Oh,
now raised the building, but it was there since the 60s. In fact, my father worked there as a maintenance person. He brought back a photograph of the moon, from the 60s. I still have it in a book somewhere.
uh-huh.
And he actually saw Albert Einstein walking down the hall one time. So this place was
Oh,
pretty cool back in the 60s. I was there in the 80s. At that time, we were doing mostly communication, satellite design, and some other military um, uh, defensive satellite programs, which you needed a high class security clearance to do. But yeah,
wow.
it kind of made Star Trek kind of opened up the possibility that yes, you can be a scientist
Hmm.
if you're a woman, or or whatever. I was a poor kid in the trailer park. No, you can do this. You can be involved in this. And I was fortunate enough to have this facility right in the next town over. Um, but it was cool. So, back in the 80s, we were just starting to develop 3D software. So I worked on a 3D modeling back in the
Oh,
80s. It ran off of a huge mainframe. So we were doing some pretty cool stuff. They had some on occasion I'd get invited to go to some of the where they were testing. They had a 40-foot chamber where they would simulate a space environment using I think it was nitrogen. They would actually,
ah,
put the satellites in there and do all kinds of acoustic tests and vibration
wow.
tests and things like that.
Well, you don't think
So it
of
was
that
very
part of it
exciting.
often.
Yeah, it was very exciting back in the day to do that. So that's how I started my career. I never did get an engineering degree, but definitely involved in engineering many aspects. I'm still in civil engineering right now. I work for Metropolitan Sewerage District, a little bit different,
Yeah, okay.
but important. And I think the other thing Star Trek instilled in me is really having to love being a public servant. I really enjoy working for the people, you know. That
Okay.
yeah.
Was that all Astro Space Center was involved in was satellites or
Yeah, basically that's what they contracted out to do.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All
They
right.
had it was really cool. They had other they would go to launch sites if you were lucky enough to be on the space blanket where you made thermal blankets to actually wrap around. You could actually go to the launch. I never got to do that. I tried to get on that team. I got to work with them once, but I never got to go to the launch site. But um, yeah, it was just a really exciting place to work.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Launches.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. Oh, and you've got a music background.
Oh yeah, that's kind of my side hustle.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So it all kind of ties in with the USS Athena being a member of the Athena. I just really it's community building, and what did they say? Infinite diversity and infinite combinations.
That's correct.
Just uh, being open to people, accepting, hey, here's a safe place, here's a community for you. Um, you could talk about we could talk about like-minded things. Somebody was talking about string theory one time. I was like, oh, yay, this is cool. Where do
Huh.
you get to talk about that kind of thing with people? Um,
Okay.
but it's all about community building, I think. Yeah,
Yes. And we do a good job of that on the Athena.
I believe that. And thank you for AthenaVision. This is awesome. Thank you for all you do.
Oh, it's all my pleasure. I really enjoy it.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. But yeah,
okay.
so yeah, okay. So the music part that I didn't wrap up here. Yeah, community band. So I direct a community band. Trying to make a safe place for people to come and express themselves and yeah,
This is
live
a
our
band
lives
of
to the
your
best.
this is a band of your creation or something that you joined?
I'm part of the creation. There are several people in the
Okay.
creation, but yeah, yeah. Anyhow, thank you. This has been
Ah,
fun.
certainly. I played trombone too in high school.
See, I knew you were awesome.
And then I didn't for years and tried, and every time I would, uh, my lips would swell up, and I just wasn't doing it enough to prevent that from happening. So I finally sold the trombone back to the place that I bought it from. So
Oh well.
I needed the money at the time. Anyway, well, uh, unless you have anything else that you'd like to talk, what's the poster behind you? Is that a for?
Oh, that's from
Uh,
Strange New Worlds.
I
That's
thought so.
yeah, Ad Astra per Aspera, you know. And actually in what is it, Lower Decks, there was one scene where Boimler opens his locker and he has this poster in his locker. So this
That's
is some
cool.
fan art someone posted, and I can't remember the fella's name, but he said, "Here, you can download this." And I just thought it was great, and I had it in my locker at work for a long time. But yeah,
Wow. All right.
I thought that'd be a little fun. Yeah,
Yes.
number one.
Okay. Well, thanks for being a part of our program. And I hope to meet you sometime in the future.
Same here. Take care.
You too. Goodbye. Again, thank you, Lois, for joining us on Parthenon Particles. As always, thank you also goes out to our commanding officers, Fleet Captain and Commander Peck, for your support and creative input. Finally, I'd like to thank you, the viewer, for watching our program and being a part of Starfleet Command and the USS Athena. Again, my name is Joseph Fugate, and I'll see you in a future Athena vision.